Hello, welcome back to some 1954 replay baseball. I'm doing this one on the computer, shaking things up a little bit. Been playing a lot of Strat lately, so thought I would get back to my 1954 replay with replay baseball. Also did a few games with payoff pitch, but this one I'll be doing with just the computer. Will be rolling my own dice, of course. So again, this is game number 75. The Braves are in first place, a game ahead of Chicago, who is overperforming substantially. The New York Giants, who actually won the National League this year, are underperforming substantially as they are 37-40, 7.5 games back. The Brooklyn Dodgers, who are always a powerhouse in the 50s, find themselves in third. But the Cubs overperforming substantially. So our last game was a one-game series that the Cardinals came into town, and we ended up losing by a score of 5-4. And so we are on a current two-game losing streak. We are 7-10 on our last, or 7-3 rather, in our last 10. So Bill Bruton is injured. He will be out until Monday, July the 5th. So we're starting a three-game series at home versus the Cincinnati Reds. So it is Friday, July the 2nd, 1954. So getting pretty far on this replay. So anyway, without further ado, we will get to the ballpark. To the schedule here. So again, replay, in my opinion, has the best computer version of any cards and dice game available. The presentation, and it's just well thought out and well done. So going for the Braves is left-hander Chet Nichols. He comes into the game at 5-2 with a 3.38 ERA. Corky Valentine is going for the Reds. He is, hey Matt, welcome. He is 7-7 with a 4.26 ERA. The Reds have a powerful offense this year. Horrible pitching. So we'll see if Chet Nichols can contain them. So here we go. Leading off for the Reds is Bobby Adams playing third base. You get a 5-1-2. And that'll be a walk. So as you can see from Chet Nichols' 5 column, he is a bit wild. So if he's going to have any success, he has to stay off of that 5 column. Again, with replay, we're doing the automatic steals, and so it doesn't look like Bobby Adams has an automatic on that one, so he will hang out there. McMillan playing shortstop is a 1-bunter, so we will bring the corners in, anticipating a possible bunt. McMillan is hitting .252, as you can see there. 3 home runs, 26 RBIs. 2-4-6, and that should be an out. I think that's a pop out. I have my trifold here handy, but of course the computer is helping me out as well. So 2-4-6, and that's actually a fly ball to right field. Andy Pafko will get to it. 1 away. Again, it's been a while since I've played replay, so it's going to take me a little bit to get back into the groove. So we got 1 away, and that brings up Gus Bell, hitting .315, 11 home runs, 60 RBIs. Again, 1954 Cincinnati had some very good offense. It's a 2-1-6. That's going to be a ground out to short, slow roller. All Logan can do is fire on to Adcock. Adams will advance to second, and there are 2 away in the inning. Big Ted Kluszewski. He was just unbelievable for a few years. I mean, he was just about the best in the league. So you're tempted to walk him, but with Nichols being a lefty and him being a lefty, looks like his 6-1 is worse against lefties. So we'll go ahead and let him hit away, because Jim Greengrass on deck is a very good hitter as well. So that's a 5-1-3, and we all know what that's going to be. Maybe that was an intentional walk. Again, for Chet Nichols to be successful, he's got to stay off of that 5 column. So that brings Jim Greengrass to the plate with 2 out. He's hitting .297, 15 home runs, 46 RBIs. So how I have it set up is that the replay stats are there in the middle underneath of the field, and then their total stats are on their cards. So that way I can kind of see what they're doing and what they did all in one swell swoop. So Jim Greengrass gets a 5-3. So we're not staying off of the 3 column. So he's loaded the bases with walks. Johnny Temple, the second baseman. He's hitting .316, 22 RBIs. Dang it. It's a 5-2-1. But thankfully, that's a fly out to center field. So Chet Nichols dodges a bullet. They get no runs, no hits, no errors. They leave 3 on. We go to the home half of the first. Cincinnati nothing. Braves coming to bat. Jim Pendleton filling in for the injured Bill Bruton. Again, he will be back on Monday when we head to St. Louis. So he will be out for this weekend. He is leading the National League in stolen bases, but Jim Pendleton is hitting a .128 and limited play. It's a man. I'm going to try a different die. I keep rolling a 5. That's ground ball to short. As you can see, Corky Valentine is pretty good with his control from his 5 column. So Pendleton grounds out to McMillan for out number 1. Johnny Logan is hitting .304, 6 home runs and 40 RBIs. And that's a 6-2-6, and that's going to be a base hit. And wow, as you can see, his 6 column is not that great, especially the 6. That's a 5, so we have to re-roll here. Anything other than a 1 is a home run, and he got a 2. So that's home run number 7 of the year for Johnny Logan. He only had 8. He's overperforming a bit. And the Braves go up 1-0. Eddie Matthews is hitting .264, 23 home runs, 60 RBIs. Gil Hodges is leading the National League in that department with 28, I believe. And that's a 1-2-2, and that'll be a strikeout.
Strike 3, you're out.
So 2 away for Joe Adcock, who is having an amazing year. He's hitting .319, 14 home runs, 65 RBIs. He gets a 2-1-5. That's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher to end the inning. So the Braves go out on top on the Johnny Logan solo home run. We go to the top of the second. Milwaukee Braves 1, Cincinnati Reds 0. Yeah, Matt, I know you feel about this Braves team kind of like I do. They, 13 years in Milwaukee, never had a losing season, had a lot of the same players for a long time. Eddie Matthews, Hank Aaron, Warren Spahn, Gene Conley, Lou Burdett, Logan, Dale Crandall, Adcock, Bill Bruton. So, I mean, they were very successful for a long time. So, it's kind of my adopted team. So, I enjoy playing them. My goal is to try to play their complete history with Strat. But I'm enjoying this 54 on the side. So Wally Post to lead off for the Reds. He's hitting .240, 10 home runs, 31 RBIs. That's a 1-5-4, and that'll be a strikeout. As everyone knows, in the 1 and 2 column, anything 6 and under is a strikeout. So quickly one away for Ed Bailey, who's getting a start at catcher today. Andy Simonek, former Philadelphia Philly, is getting the day off. That's a 1-2-2, and that'll be a strikeout. Again, Chet Nichols, he can be successful as long as he stays off of that 5 column. So 2 out for Corky Valentine, who hit 138. That's a 3-1-5. And that's a double to right field. So how about that? Yeah? Yeah, I remember you telling me that you got to see some Braves games, Matt. Got to see Eddie Matt. I think you, if I remember correctly, you said you saw Matthews hit a home run, which would have been incredibly cool as a Milwaukee Braves fan. So Bobby Adams, he walked in the first, got as far as third base. And that's not good. 6-4. Yep, that's going to be trouble. 6-4-5. And that's a long single to right. Valentine will score easily. And looks like Adams might try to stretch it into a double. Gets a 42. And he's safe. That's a double. Back-to-back doubles for the Reds as they tie it up. Hey, Jeremy, welcome. Doing something a little different today. I've actually been doing this 54 replay for a while. I've been using payoff pitch. I've been using replay cards and dice. Replay's computer game is so much like cards and dice. I thought for this one I would just do the computer. Rolling my own dice, of course, because that's the way I roll. Pun intended. So Bobby Adams with a 2-out double ties it up. That'll bring McMillan to the plate. You want to get McMillan out because then you got Bell, Klazuski, and Greengrass up after him. So want to make McMillan the third out here. We get a 4-1-1. That'll be to Adcock, who's the worst fielder. Possible error. However, he does have a pretty good error rating. And he will make the play just barely. 55 and over, or 56 and over would have been an error. He rolled a 52. So that'll be an unassisted put out at first to end the inning. So the Reds get a run on 2 doubles. They leave a runner on. We go to the bottom of the second, tied at 1. AVL 123, welcome. Said doing something a little different today. With some replay computer. Game number 75 of my Milwaukee Braves 1954 replay that I've been working on a while. So Andy Pafko, who has been in a year-long slump, hitting .231, 4 home runs, 35 RBIs. He did have a good game yesterday against St. Louis, which we lost 5-4. That's a 4-3-5. And that's going to be an umpire check. So 1 and 6, he will be called safe. And we get a 2. So the umpire calls him out. 6-3 on the putout. 1 away for Hank Aaron. Of course, this is Hank's rookie season. So far, he's hitting .285, 8 home runs, 37 RBIs. Long, promising future ahead of him in 1954. And that's a 2-6-1. That's going to be a ballpark check. And that's hit out to Greengrass, who is a 3. That's actually like a ballpark slash outfielder rating check. Yeah, VL 123. I'm a big fan of open engines. Again, I'm sure it's more my paranoia than reality. Those closed engine games are great, but yeah, I like rolling my own results. Mixed era leagues. Yeah, you can make your own leagues. As far as I'm aware of. Again, I called myself the replay gamer for a reason. I'm not real big on greatest teams and tournaments and things like that, but I'm positive you can do that with this game. Yeah, world's worst gamer. It is expensive. They run a lot of sales, so it's a lot less expensive than Strat. And again, the computer is the cards and dice straight on. I mean, it's just the best representation of a cards and dice game on the computer that I've ever seen. Yeah, I remember you telling me that, Matt. Yeah, that would be awesome, especially 1960 Pirates. Of course, we know what happened to them that year. And I remember you telling me about that. That would be incredibly cool. All right, let's see if Greengrass can make this play or not. That's a 56, and he is just barely not going to. So that'll drop for a single. So Hammer and Hank on first. Again, I'm doing the auto steals, and he doesn't have anything on that one. So Hank on at first. He runs at a 4. Del Crandall hitting 220, but he does have 15 home runs and 35 RBIs. And that's a 5.55. That's going to be a walk. So the Braves have runners on first and second, one away for Jack Dittmer, who is getting the start today. He was the starter back in 1953, and the Braves picked up Danny O'Connell from the Pirates, and so he has been the starter this year. But I'm pretty sure Dittmer was with him for a few years, even though he didn't start. But he's getting the start today, hitting 283 with 3 RBIs and 46 at-bats. Yeah, VL 123, if you wanted every season that they had, it would be expensive. And, Strat has every season on the computer version. Replay doesn't. They have a really nice selection, and they do have some Diamond Decades. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, matter of fact, I think they just came out. Again, I don't follow this real closely because I'm not a big fan of it, but I think they have came out with franchise, all-stars, the best of franchises, I'm pretty sure. So, but yeah, I mean, they've got a big enough selection that you'll be entertained for years if you wanted to pick it up. All right, so Jack Dittmer, the Reds are at double play depth. And that's a 5.46, so that's the worst 5 columns. So, however, Dittmer doesn't walk much, so that's going to be a grounder down to Adams. He'll fire to Temple at second, and that's all they'll get. So Aaron will make it to third. Crandall retired at second base for out number 2. Dittmer on with the fielder's choice. We got him on the corners for Chet Nichols, who hit 0.86 and 35 at-bats. Oh, we actually have the K on Dittmer, so that's probably not going to be good. It's not. As you can see there, he's probably going to be out. So he gets a 9, and he is indeed out. So Dittmer caught stealing 2-6, which was a really bad decision with the pitcher up. Ball players will do that sometimes, so he'll get a mouthful. Maybe a little nervous getting his first start, trying to impress the coaching staff. Failed to do so. All right, we've played 2 here at Milwaukee County Stadium. 1-1. Hey, SDGA-KATBK, welcome. Hey, Matt. Yeah, I remember you telling me about your 58 replay. Again, hey, Philip, welcome. My bucket list is to replay the complete, 53, or the complete Milwaukee Braves history with Strat. And I've got all the seasons, so I can do it. All right, so Gus Bell will step to the plate. He's grounded out in his first at bat. Gets a 2-4-6. And that's hit hard out to right field, but Andy Pafko is there for out number 1. Ted Kluszewski. He's one of those guys that bring fear into you. He's already got 80 RBIs, 23 home runs. That's just amazing. We're really close to the All-Star break, but he's got 80 RBIs already, and we're not even to the All-Star break. That's a 4-1-4, so that'll be to shortstop. Logan is a 2, so he will field his position well for the second out of the inning. AVL 123. It's really easy. Basically, the red die gives you like the column on top. So if you look at the cards on the screen there, so if you roll a 1, for example, the pitcher and the hitter will be in the 1 column, and then the white die tells you the batter row, the blue die tells you the pitcher row, and then you just add those number up, and then there's a tri-fold, really nice laminated chart with 6 columns that you find the result. It's simple as that. So like, for example, if you rolled a 1-1-1, you got 40 on Kluszewski there, a 2 on Chet Nichols, you get a 42, and then you just look that up on the chart. So it's a bit like APA, except you don't have a book, you have a really nice trifold. So that's in a nutshell kind of how it works. All right, Jim Greengrass is up with 2 out, nobody on. 1-4-6. That should be a ground out. Yep, ground ball to Adcock. He flips it to Nichols, and the Reds go in order in the 3rd. Go to the home half of the 3rd, still tied 1-1. I didn't understand your question, Matt. Do you have all the time? I'm not for sure what you mean by that. All right, Chet Nichols was on first when Dittmer foolhardily tried to steal second. That's a 4-4-6, and that's going to be to the second baseman, Temple, who is a 2. So he is a good defender and makes the play for out number 1. Oh, okay, you were asking VL 123. Very good. All right, Jim Pendleton, again getting the start for the injured Bruton. He grounded out his first at bat, and that's a 1-1-1. Usually doubles are good, but looks like that's going to be a strikeout for Mr. Pendleton. And it is. So 2 away. Normally doubles are good, but not that time. So Johnny Logan, he hit his 7th bomb of the year. Again, he only had 8 total. And he gets a 2-2-2, so case in point, that's going to be a single. We actually got a 2-2-5. But that'll be a single for Johnny Logan as he gets his second base hit of the game. He has 2 of the 3 Milwaukee hits today. This is an afternoon game, by the way, on Friday, July the 2nd, 1954. Oh, Matt, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably wait till I'm kind of saving that one. I don't know why. Again, that's probably it's definitely the one that I want to do the most. So I don't know why I'm saving it. With 13 seasons, I probably ought to get started. But as you are probably alluding to, I do have a few irons in the fire right now. All right, so Johnny Logan, 2 out, nobody on. Oop. Actually, Logan singled. Eddie Matthews is up with 2 outs and Logan on. So that's a 1-5-4, and that's going to be a pop out. Yep. Corky Valentine's 1 column has a lot of 3s, so not quite a strikeout pitcher. So he pops out to Johnny Temple at second to end the inning. So Matthews just misses a fastball, pops it up, and that'll do it for the Braves in the third. Go to the top of the fourth, tied at 1. Johnny Temple, he flew out to end the first with the bases loaded. Thankfully, he flew out. That's a 3-4-5. And that's going to be a possible rare play. So we got a 2. So that's actually going to be the infamous bouncer back to the mound. Dribbler to the mound. Temple runs out of 4, so 5 or 6 he's out. And he gets a 1, so he beats it out. Infield single for Johnny Temple. And he doesn't have... I don't think he has a steal. No, he doesn't. So the Braves will be at double play death for Wally Post. He struck out to start the second. And that's a 5-5-1. And as we've already determined, we don't want to be in the 5 column. But maybe we'll luck out. No, that's going to be an infield single. So 2 back-to-back infield singles for the Reds. Ed Bailey will step to the plate, again getting the start for Andy Semenuk today. There's actually a base action on this one, so this would be a possible wild pitch. Get a 9, so that is a wild pitch check. Nichols is a 5, which is pretty good, so anything other than a 6 will not be a wild pitch, and he gets a 4. So wild pitch averted, and we will roll again for Ed Bailey. That's a 1-5-2. 1-5-2. That's going to be a 7. It should be a pop out, if I have calculated correctly. And it is indeed popped up on the infield. Jack Dittmer will play it for the first out of the inning. So Corky Valentine, who doubled and scored his last at bat, yeah, that's true, Matt. They came very, very close there in the mid to late 50s and could have won a lot more than just that one World Series. And so, yeah, when I want to do their whole history, but that will be the sweet spot for sure. VL 123. Replay has the best ballpark picture. All you have to do is there's a file that's been created by people, friends of the game, I suppose. All you have to do is download it, and it's there. It's the easiest one. I know, like Stratomatic, you have to hunt them down, and it's not real easy to try to figure out how to get them in. This game, you download the season file and the stadium files, and everything's there. So it's really, really cool. All right, so we're going to do double play depth. I don't think they're going to try to bunt with 1 out, but we will see. 3-5-5. And there he is going to try to bunt. So how about that? And he gets a 6, so that's going to be a possible hit. So anything 3 and under is going to be another infield single. And he gets a 6, so thankfully we are able to just barely nip him as he is out Adcock to Dittmer. Sack bunt for Valentine. That's 3-4 on the putout. So 2 outs, runners on second and third. for Bobby Adams. That's a 6-3-1. If you get in the 6 column, you don't want even numbers, and so that odd number is good. And he pops out to third to end the inning. So they get a couple of infield hits, almost 3 infield hits, but they leave both of them on. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-1. Joe Adcock bounced back to the pitcher, his first at bat. Cool VL 123. Yeah, there's no wrong way to do a replay. However you enjoy it. Uh-oh. 6-6-3. We all know what 6-6 is. And 3 is, so that's going to be a 14. I think that's going to be an automatic dong. And it is. Joe Adcock got all of that one. Home run number 15 of the year for Joe. And his fantastic year continues, and the Braves go up by 1. Got all of that Corky Valentine offering. 2-1 Milwaukee. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, like I said, they, replay has quite a few, diamond gems and things like that, so. You're welcome, World's Worst Gamer. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and if I know the answer, I'll sure try to help. All right, Andy Pafko. Ooh, he gets a 6-5-2. So again, you don't want odd numbers in the 6 column typically unless you're very good, and then every once in a while that odd number will be good, but usually you want even numbers. So as it is, that's a short fly out to center field. Gus Bell will put it away for out number 1. Hank Aaron singled and got as far as third base, but was stranded there. He gets a 2-1-2. And that's a ground ball to short. And Aaron is going to miss next game. So I'm not doing as played. So I am doing injuries. So the way replay does their injuries, when you get injured, you don't go out that game. You go out the games after the game you're in. So as it is, so Aaron will be out next game tomorrow, which is Saturday. So, but he grounded out for the second out this game. So McMillan, who's a fine defender, throws him out. Del Crandall walked his first at bat, 2 out, nobody on. It's a 1-5-6. And that's popped up on the infield. Bobby Adams waves everyone off, and that'll do it for the Braves in the 4th. However, they go up by 1 as Joe Adcock connects for his 15th homer of the year. We go to the top of the 5th. Milwaukee 2, Cincinnati 1. Roy McMillan, again, you want to get him out with Bell, Kluszewski, and Greengrass up. That's a 3-5-4. And that's a short fly to center field. Pendleton will get to it in time for out number 1. Gus Bell is 0 for 2. That is one good thing because Bell and Kluszewski are both lefties, so you want to, they just murder righties. But then you got Greengrass and Temple, who's a 300 hitter. He doesn't have the power of those other guys, but he can definitely get on base. And there's a 6-4-5. And that's a case where the lefty is going to help us. So again, replay doesn't have a ton of splits, but they do have some. So that would have been at least a double if it would have been a right-handed pitcher. But as it is, that should be a fly out. Yep, deep fly to left field. Aaron will get to it. 2 away. Ted Kluszewski is walked and grounded out. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done, Matt, is added any of the home run calls, but I have seen that done, and it's very cool. But yeah, the presentation of the replay game is just unrivaled. I mean, it is by far, in my opinion, the best cards and dice computer game there is. I mean, it's just really, really well done. Yeah, I have both of those games, VL 123. Out of the Park is great if you like What If. I mean, it's just Dave Gardner has called it like a sandbox, and it is. I mean, you can do anything. Matter of fact, there's so many options, it can be a little bit overwhelming because it's just so many things that you can control. But yeah, it's, if you're wanting to do like a real replay, it's probably wouldn't be my first choice. Action PC is a fantastic game. Again, presentation's great. Again, if you don't mind closed engines, it's great. Obviously, Ron uses that quite a bit, and it's a really good game. Again, my mental capacity really, again, I just like rolling my own dice. I'm just kind of weird that way. But both of those games are great. They do different things, but they're both really good games. But if you don't like closed engines, obviously, you'll have a little issues with that. So anyway, Ted Kluszewski is up, 2 out, nobody on. That's a 1-3-4. I think that's going to be a strikeout. And a strikeout it is. So Ted Kluszewski swung hard, but came up empty. We go to the bottom of the 5th, Milwaukee leading by 1. Jack Dittmer, who reached on a fielder's choice and was caught stealing foolishly, will lead off here in the bottom of the 5th. He gets a 2-3-5. And that's a fly ball out to right field. Wally Post will get to it for out number 1. Yeah. Again, Ron plays a lot of Action PC, and it's just, again, it's a fantastic game. Really good game. Yeah, I did I didn't intentionally do it World's Worst Gamer, but I replayed 1953 Milwaukee Braves with Diamond Mine Baseball. And this has been a while ago, and I saved the file onto a floppy, if you can remember those things, and somehow it got corrupted. So I didn't win the pennant. The Braves in 53 were just unstoppable. But I would love to have those stats to be able to go and look at them. But yeah, you got to get to that World Series. That would be exciting. If I won the pennant, in any replay, I would be right on top of the series. Okay. Chet Nichols will step to the plate. He grounded out his first at bat. Hey, Dave, welcome. I listened to the last Digital Dice with I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, Giles. It was excellent. He had a lot of really cool things about, you guys did a really good job asking good questions, and that was a very interesting. I mean, they're all good, but I really enjoyed that. I listened to that earlier today. So tell him he did a great job. He actually motivated me to keep doing my 1947 every game Stratomatic. So he's one of those guys who, I envy, because he has played a lot of games, and I think he said he'd finished 3 every game replay, and so that was kind of motivating to keep me going on my 47 one. But taking a little break from Strat to do some replay. Again, I'm in July 2nd of this replay, so I'd like to finish it. So here we are. So that's a 3-6-3 for Chet Nichols. And that's a line drive to center field. So how about that? All right, so that'll bring Jim Pendleton. He is 0 for 2. The Reds are at double play depth. Here is the pitch from Corky Valentine. 2-5-2. And that's going to be a 9, which should be a foul out. It is. Foul out to third. 2 away for Johnny Logan. Both of the Braves' runs today have been scored on solo home runs. Johnny Logan having the first one. That's a 4-3-3. That will be to the third baseman. Bobby Adams is a 2, and he makes the play to end the inning. So the pitcher gets the lone hit. He doesn't get any farther than first base. We go to the top of the 6th. Milwaukee up by 1. That is one thing about replay, their ratings. It takes a little getting used to because the outfielder and the catcher's ratings are different than the pitcher and the catcher's, or the pitcher and the infielder's ratings. So on the infield, lower is better. In the outfield, higher is better. The catcher higher is better. The pitcher lower is better. So that can be a little getting used to. But it's not bad once you get used to it. It kind of plays into how their defensive check. So once you kind of get into your head, you know, how you check the defense, it makes sense. It doesn't throw, at least it didn't throw me as much, that higher is better in the outfield, lower is better in the infield. So, all right, Jim Greengrass is walked and grounded out. That's a 3-2-3. And that's line to short. Logan will spear it out number 1. Yeah, world's worst gamer. The catcher is like the outfield. So I remember that because you got outfield, infield. The pitcher is on the infield. And then I just remember the catcher is like the outfielder. Yeah, via 123, you can position your infielders at halfway or in or corners in, so you can do, or back. You can position them at double play depth, if I understand your statement. All right, Johnny Temple had an infield single and flew out. That's a 5-6-2, and as we recall, we don't want Chet Nichols' 5 column as he proceeds to walk another one. Wally Post has an infield single and struck out as well. Temple had the asterisk, so he's going to try to steal. On this one, either you steal or you don't. No chance of getting caught stolen. Together, Nichols and Crandall make a 43, so anything 44 and above will be a stolen base. And we get a 56, so Temple's going to steal second base. So the tying run on second. Wally Post. So Nichols is on his B ratings, so that's not good. Yeah, that's a good point, World's Worst Gamer. You can download the demo for 5 days, and I'm pretty sure it does, pretty much everything that the real version does. So that's a good suggestion to see if you like it. Well, I don't know if I want to take Nichols out here or not. We're in the top of the 6th. I don't think he's permanently tired. Replay has a pretty cool pitcher fatigue. It's a little confusing if you don't have the computer aiding you because they can get dropped to their B ratings, and then if they can get the next couple outs, they can improve back to their regular ratings. But yeah, let's see. I think we're going to go to the pen here. I'm going to go with Dave Jolly. Let's see, and Matthews is due up for us, so we're a long way from the pitcher. And then when you bring in a relief pitcher, if they're the same sidage, you can pick to get a really good rating in any column. So I'm going to go with the home run rating. So Dave Jolly will be in to face Post. Yeah, you almost have to, don't you, with a 2-1 score. Yeah, VL 123, it's not a pitch count, it's batters faced is how they do it. Not innings like Strat does, but batters faced. And it's a little confusing, but if you have the computer, it actually does it for you. So you, like for example, if you see on the screen there's a green 10 next to Jolly. So that means he can face 10 batters before he starts getting tired. So it's batters faced. So, all right, so Dave Jolly will come in to see if he can get Post out here. Post, again, has an infield single and struck out. He gets a 3-6-4. And Jolly has an excellent 3 column. So anything over a 2 is going to be a double play on the line out. And that's a 3. So how about that? That's double play. So Dave Jolly gets the job done as Post lines out into a double play. And he gets him at second, 6-4. That'll do it for the Reds. No runs, no hits, no errors. They ended up leaving nobody on. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Milwaukee still holding on to a 1-run lead. Yeah, I've never tried Digital Diamond Baseball VL 123. It's on my to-do list. Hey, D. Scott Howard, welcome. Yeah, there's quite a few games I still would like to try, but and that's one of them. All right, Eddie Matthews is 0 for 2. Corky Valentine still in the game. 6-6-1. We all know what that could mean. Let's see, that's going to be a 13. And I think that's an automatic bomb. And it is. So Eddie Matthews connects for number 24 of the season, and the Braves have hit their 3rd solo home run. .24 for Matthews. Again, Gil Hodges is leading the National League with 28, I believe. Hank Sauer for the Cubs is second. So that brings Joe Adcock to the plate. He has the 2nd solo home run of the game. That's a 5-6-3. Ground ball to first. He'll flip to Valentine. Out number 1. So 3 solo home runs. 1 by Logan, 1 by Matthews, 1 by Adcock. Milwaukee Braves faithful. Yeah, I haven't either, Dave. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Strat, obviously. Loving it, but wanted to try something a little different. And again, I've got almost half a year done in this replay, so I want to finish it. So I thought I would put it up, and it's nice to get something different sometimes. Again, I've been getting the itch to play some History Maker. I haven't played History Maker in a while, but I've been getting the itch to play that. All right, so Andy Pafko, he gets a 6-3-6, and as we remember, odds in the 6th column is usually not good. So that's deep fly to center field, out number 2. Hank Aaron, again, rookie Hank Aaron, set to the plate with 2 outs. 5-3-6. And that's going to be a walk. It's just the 2nd walk given up by Corky Valentine. He's not pitching a bad game. Just those 3 solo home runs, which is better than 3 3-run home runs. Del Crandall has walked and popped out. History Maker VL 123. It's a really unusual game. Instead of numbers, it's by play.com, and they have a book which is like APBA where you look up the results, but instead of numbers, you have qualities. So and they do things like team chemistry. You have people who get hot and cold. It's really interesting. It's quite a bit different than any other game I have, and it's a lot of fun. So you have to be careful hanging out with us. We'll hurt your pocketbook. That's what happened to me. I was happy with Strat, and then I started watching YouTube videos, and here I am. All right, so Del Crandall, you got 2 out. Hank Aaron on first base. That's a 2-3-6. And that's a strikeout. So Braves get 1 more run on 1 more solo home run. They leave Aaron on at first. We go to the top of the 7th. Milwaukee 3, Cincinnati Reds 1. All right, Ed Bailey, again getting the start for Andy Seminick. He gets a 3.55. And that's popped up on the infield. Adcock will get it for out number 1. So it'll be interesting if they see if they let Corky Valentine hit or not. And they do, and he strikes out. That's an interesting strategy move. I know World's Worst Gamer has trouble with computer AI, so he may have disagreed with that, leaving Corky Valentine in the game, down by 2 in the 7th. Bobby Adams has doubled in a run, walked and popped out. 3-1-4. And that's a ballpark check. So anything other than a 66 is going to be an out. That's a 52, so that's going to be a fly out to right field. So Bobby Adams takes one the other way, but Pafko is there to catch it for out number 3. Of course, County Stadium is a pitcher's park. At least it was when the Braves were there. Yeah, Andy Seminick was on that 1950s pennant-winning team, but yes, Seminick played for the Reds for at least 2 or 3 years. Yeah, again, you know, the way I think about it, World's Worst Gamer, is, you know, in the history of baseball, there have been some really boneheaded managerial moves, you know, and there's quite often, you know, you got that, and then quite often there are things that are like underlying circumstances. You know, maybe the bullpen's tired, you know, and I'm fishing here a little bit, but maybe in batting practice, Corky Valentine was knocking the cover off the ball, you know, and so again, I kind of, you know, there's no doubt the AI in these things could be better, but that's kind of how I get by with the AI. So again, I'm fine with it. You know, I assume that they will continue to improve as the years go by, but that's kind of how I cope. All right. Let's see. So we got Dittmer up. So I need to talk a little less and play a little more. So Dittmer is 0 for 2. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. Temple will throw him out. 1 away. Here in the bottom of the 7th. So it looks like Jolly has 6 batters left, so I'm going to let him go ahead and hit. Jolly is, him and Ernie Johnson are the best I have in the pen, so I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more out of him. He hit 290, however, with a home run, so how about that? So he's probably better than anybody that I have in the on the bench. So that's popped up on the infield, however. Temple will get it. Now this is one of those times when the computer is figuring out the extra bases. So the check 4 is higher than the pitcher's CG rating of 2. So his batter's faced rating is increased by 10. So that's what I was talking about. It's confusing if you're trying to do it with just the board game, but when the computer figures it out, it's, you know, it pretty much just does it. So because of the rating that Corky Valentine has, and the 4 that was rolled, he gets a 10 batter boost. So you can see there now there's a green 10 by him on the mound. So that's kind of how that works. So All right, so Jim Pendleton, 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th. Will take his crack at Valentine. That's a 5-5-5. And again, Valentine has a pretty good 5 column, but that's a 3. So that's going to be an infield single. So Pendleton gets his first base hit of the game as he legs out a infield hit. And we have a base action, so an opportunity for, and this is kind of built into the chart, if you were wondering. So that's a 7, so that's a wild pitch check. Valentine has a 5, which is very good, so only a 6 will be a wild pitch. He got a 4, so no wild pitch. And Logan will take his crack with Pendleton on first base. So again, Logan has a single and a solo home run, his 7th of the year. He gets a 5-2-6, so even though Valentine has a good 5 column, I keep hitting the 5 and 6, but that's going to be a fly out to center field nonetheless. So that'll do it for the Braves in the 7th. No runs, a hit. They leave 1 runner on. We go to the inning number 8. 3-1 Milwaukee Braves. Roy McMillan. Again, you want to get this guy out with Bell, Kazuski, and Greengrass coming up. 1-3-3. And that's going to be a strikeout, I believe. And it is. So McMillan goes down on strikes. 1 away. And we'll bring Gus Bell to the plate with bases empty and 1 out. And that's a 2-2-2. We all know 2-2-2, or 2-2-3 actually, but that's going to be a walk. Okay, so you see there on the card that Jolly has a W, so any hits are turned to a W. Wow, and his 5 column is worse than, man, he walks a lot. His 3 column is phenomenal. All right, so here's not, you don't want this. Ted Klaczewski up with the tying run, with him being the tying run. So here we go. Yep, Klu's the tying run here. Not who you want to be up in this situation. That's a 4-5-5, so thankfully we're on the infield column, and 5 is to Logan, who is a 2. So here we got definitely a fielder's choice. We're going to check Dittmer's pivot rating. So a 3 and under will be a double play, I believe. And that's a 3. I think it's 3 and under. And it is. So Dittmer with decent defense makes a nice pivot. And that's a inning ending, as Kurt Berglund would say, soul destroying double play. So that's a big out. No runs, no hits. No errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Braves still holding on to a 2-run lead. On the card for the pitchers, on the card they've got limited stats. You can obviously click on the player to get more in depth if you want. And so you see if you click on his card, VL 123, you get more stats. I don't think home run's even on there. They do have the whip, which I like. But you get a few more stats there. I know that in the stat package you can find anything. I thought there was Legends of Boxing. Yeah, I do have Glory Days Boxing. That's the only boxing game I have. For the batters, it shows their home run down there. So you look at Eddie Matthews' card. It's got games, at bats, home runs, stolen bases, average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. So those, for me, average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage tell a lot about the batter. So I like having those 3. But yeah, I mean, most games, they pick which stats to put on there, and we all have our favorites, but I think it does a pretty good representation of showing what they did on their stats. Of course, you can go old school APA, and they don't have any stats on those cards, which has a certain charm to it. All right, so Eddie Matthews hit his 24th home run in 3 at bats. He gets a 2-1-5. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Valentine will throw him out. One away. Joe Adcock has homered in 3 at-bats as well. Yeah, D. Scott Howard, I've got a couple videos on that. Glory Days Boxing. I don't even like boxing, and I like that game. So it's very, very well done. If you like boxing, I definitely recommend it. Even if you don't, you might enjoy it, because I know I do. That's a 1-3-4, and Adcock has been struck out for out number 2. So it's Andy Pafko is 0 for 3. Thought he may have been pulling out of his slump yesterday, but he's back to his old ways today. He gets a 4-3-5, and that's going to be to McMillan, who is a 1. We have the umpire check, so a 2 or a 1 or a 6, they'll call him safe. He gets a 2, so he is called out. On a bang-bang play, the umpire calls him out. So the Braves go in order in the 8th. Top of the 9th. Cincinnati down by 2. In this game, I've probably got, again, I'm not for sure. I've got an inventory, but I haven't looked at my replay inventory lately. I've got at least 10 games. This is, as I've said in some other videos, this is my only hobby. I don't have nice cars. I don't wear watches. I don't wear fancy clothes except for my old school baseball logo shirt. And so this is kind of my only hobby. So, yep, that's true, World's Worst Gamer. Thankfully, I have an understanding wife. So, but again, this is the only thing I spend money on other than necessities. So, all right. So Jim Greengrass, top of the 9th. They down by 2. Dave Jolly has 3 batters left. So here we go. Greengrass so far has walked and 3 at bats. He gets a 5-1-2. We don't want the 5 column, and he leads off with a walk. Got to stay off that 5 column. Thankfully, we're through the heart of the lineup, but got Johnny Temple, who's hitting .318. Yeah, VL 123, much better. There's no doubt it can be like a drug. I mean, any kind of hobby or thing you love, you can get carried away with it for sure. All right, Johnny Temple. The Braves will be at double play depth. That's a 3-5-4. As we know, Jolly has a really good 3 column. So that's lined out to Logan for out number 1. Reds down to their last 2 outs. Wally Post lined out into a double play. His last at bat has a single. Yeah, this Reds offense, if they had any pitching at all, they would have been phenomenal. It pretty much through the 50s. They had, Greengrass, Klaczewski, and Bell for a long time, and Wally Post for a while. That's a 2-1-2. Oh, they're going to pinch hit. Interesting. So that Post will not hit. They're going to bring up Hobie Landreth, left-handed hitting catcher. I'm not so sure I would have stayed with Post myself, but we'll see how it works out. So the Braves still at double play depth. That's a 6-1. As we know, we want an odd number in the 6 column. And that's a deep fly to left field. Aaron will get to it on the warning track, out number 2. Guess they were going for the lefty-righty thing there. Yeah, that's what I figured. Again, not a horrible move, but I think I would have stuck with Post because he has more power than Landreth has. Of course, Landreth hit 5 home runs and 81 at-bats. I mean, that's not horrible, but at any rate, he flew out. So it is up to Ed Bailey. They may pinch hit for him here. We'll see, because he is a 197 batter in real life. So that's a 1-4-6. They're going to let him hit, and he strikes out. So that will do it. The Braves have won the game. They continue their hot ways. So Chet Nichols gets the win. He goes to 6-2. Corky Valentine takes the loss at 7-8. Dave Jolly gets a, what did he do, 3 innings to get the save. That's a save. The MVP of the game goes to Johnny Logan. So let's look at this. So I think I've already replayed everything here. I have. So let's look at our replay daily. So as you can see, let's see. Chicago beat St. Louis today 8-3. So they're continuing to overperform. Yeah, Jolly did a great job. Again, he can be wild as a chicken, but thankfully we stayed off that 5 column. Hank Aaron ended up, he was 1 for 2 with a walk. He had a single, got as far as third base in the second inning, but was stranded there. You're welcome, D. Scott Howard. Thanks for stopping by. The Giants lost to Pittsburgh, of all people. Again, the New York Giants, who won the pennant in 1954, are just 37-40. They're underperforming horribly. And the Pirates, who were just completely horrible this year, beat them 3-2 today. Philadelphia beat Brooklyn 3-2, and of course we beat Cincinnati 3-1. So we are a game and a half on top of Chicago. The Brooklyn Dodgers are third, 4 games out. So we've got 2 more with Cincinnati. So let's look at the schedule for tomorrow. So we got Art Fowler going for the Reds. And so, again, we have stay in first place. And like I said, Dave has been talking about, matter of fact, with ID Jester and Al last night, they were talking a little bit about when you're winning, it makes it a lot funner. Of course, I think they were talking about when you first start a game that you've never played before. So obviously I like replay baseball very well, whether the results come out like I like or not. But with them in first place and it's July the 2nd, that's fun. And with my main nemesis, the Giants and the Dodgers, not playing great, it gives you hope for the pennant run. So. Yeah, this World's Worst Gamer, this game is the computer. Usually I like to do, a combo where I'll have bits and pieces of the computer and then have the cards on my table because I just like that better. But, yeah, when you're doing just the computer, it streams great. Quick and easy, no problems. And, again, the representation is really good. Again, Replay has the best cards and dice computer game by far, so at any rate, I think RJL has a game coming up tonight. So he's in the playoff throes of his 1979 replay. So check that out if you can. And, thanks, World's Gamer. Like I said, if they could win the pennant, that'd be really cool. That'd be fun. We could take on the Yankees. The Yankees won. Oh, actually, no, the Indians won in 54. That's right. That was the Giants and the Indians. Matter of fact, I think they won like 111 games, if I remember correctly. So, but at any rate, I appreciate it very much, and I will see you next time.